The ship was the size of a mountain. It entered Earth's orbit at 0347 hours Greenwich Mean Time, blocking out stars across a third of the visible sky. Every telescope, every satellite dish, every military radar on the planet locked onto it simultaneously. Governments scrambled. Generals sweated through their uniforms. Emergency hotlines melted under the pressure of 1 billion panicked phone calls. Inside the United Nations Emergency Response Center in New York, General Marcus Webb stood with his arms crossed, staring at the feed from the International Space Station. The alien vessel hung there like a dark god, silent, massive, and utterly indifferent to the chaos it had caused simply by existing. His aide, Lieutenant Daniel Reyes, leaned close and whispered, "Sir, they're broadcasting on every frequency. Audio and visual." "Put it through," Marcus said flatly. The screen flickered. A creature appeared, tall, gray-skinned, with 4 arms and eyes like polished obsidian. Behind it stood dozens more, all draped in ceremonial armor that glittered like crushed glass. The translation software stuttered for 3 seconds, then locked in. "People of Earth," the creature said, its voice deep and resonant, almost theatrical. "We are the Galactic Empire. We have consumed 417 civilizations across 11 star systems. We have reduced species to memory and memory to silence. You are primitive. You are fragile. You have 17 of your planetary rotations to surrender unconditionally, or face complete and total annihilation." The transmission cut. Every person in the room stood completely still. Then General Marcus Webb did something nobody expected. He laughed. It started as a short exhale, the kind a man releases when he hears a joke he wasn't prepared for. Then it grew. Lieutenant Reyes watched his commanding officer, a decorated veteran of 3 wars, bend slightly at the waist and laugh with genuine, unfiltered amusement. "Sir," Reyes started. 17 days, Marcus wheezed, straightening up and wiping his eye. "They gave us 17 days. Not 17 years. Days." He shook his head. "Pull up our nuclear inventory, our orbital defense grid, and get me Ambassador Patricia Cole on the line. We're going to respond." Patricia Cole was not a general. She was not a soldier. She was a 63-year-old woman from Nashville, Tennessee, who had spent 40 years negotiating peace agreements in places where peace had no business surviving. She had gray hair, reading glasses she never wore correctly, and absolutely no patience for intimidation. When she recorded Earth's official response, she sat alone in front of a camera, folded her hands on the table, and spoke calmly. "We appreciate your introduction. We've received your deadline. We want you to know we've reviewed our options carefully." She paused, adjusted her glasses, and looked directly into the lens. "We decline. And we'd like to invite your leadership aboard one of our stations for a conversation. Because we think there may be some context about humanity that your empire has not yet considered." They came, because they were curious. Empires that had never been refused before always were. 3 Galactic Empire commanders boarded the International Space Station expecting cowering scientists and desperate diplomats. Instead, they found Marcus, Patricia, and Dr. James Holloway, Earth's leading xenobiologist, drinking coffee from thermoses and reviewing documents on tablets like men and women in a waiting room. The lead commander, who called himself Vorkin, studied the humans with visible confusion. "You are not afraid," he said through his translator. "Should we be?" Patricia asked, genuinely curious. "We have destroyed worlds. We've been destroying ourselves for 200,000 years, James said cheerfully, not looking up from his tablet. Ice ages, plagues, world wars, nuclear standoffs, a pandemic that shut down the entire planet, we're still here. We're actually pretty hard to get rid of." Vorkin's obsidian eyes narrowed. "You treat this as insignificant?" Marcus set down his coffee. His voice was quiet and steady. "We treat it as Tuesday." He pulled up a holographic display, casualty figures, conflict data, technological advancement timelines. 400 years of warfare compressed into 2 minutes of data. Civilizations humanity had survived. Extinction-level events it had walked through and come out the other side, somehow more curious than before. Vorkin stared at the data for a long time. You have been at war, he said slowly, with each other, continuously, and you still developed space travel. We're complicated people, Patricia said warmly. The mountain-sized ship left Earth's orbit on the 16th day. No ultimatum was issued. No attack was launched. Vorkin's final transmission was brief and contained something that the Empire's translation software had apparently never needed to use before. The word for respect. Back in New York, Marcus watched the ship disappear from the radar screen. Reyes stood beside him, quiet for a moment, then asked, "Do you think they'll come back?" Marcus picked up his coffee cup. "Probably." "And?" He shrugged. "We'll make more coffee."